Well, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, the time has come once again to take a peek at 6 new twisted tales from the Number 9 lads. But this time, we've come to the end. It's the final series of the show, and it's come an awful long way from its initial 6 episodes over a decade ago. As always, I'm both excited and afraid for what's going to happen. At the very least, we can take this little journey together as we once more step inside Number 9. Inside Number 9 has always had the proud tradition of an episode that is filmed or told in a non-traditional manner, taking every series to further exercise the potential of the story and its characters. These range from an episode told mostly without dialogue, one made to resemble a horror movie from the 70s, ones in iambic pentameter and commedia dell'arte, ones that used CCTV or split screen, and most recently, one told in the form of a live game show. The potential for unique storytelling is limitless in such a unique show such as this one, and with this episode being the final one of these, we'll get, how does Mulberry Close fare when compared to its predecessors? Mulberry Close takes place in, Mulberry Close, as we're given a fly-on-the-wall perspective of a new couple who just moved into Number 9, Val and Damon. The two of them seem nice enough and get along fine with the neighbours, even if Damon can be a little grumpy towards them. When the others start to hear odd sounds at night and Damon acting strangely at all hours, it only makes them seem more odd, especially as Val hasn't been seen in a while, which begs the question, what's going on inside Number 9? Firstly, we have to address the elephant in the room of this episode, that being how it's presented, as the entire episode is shot through the perspective of a doorbell camera. It's quite a unique little framing device, and it certainly sets up quite an interesting point of view, as technically we don't see what happens inside the house and are just as clueless as everybody else in the neighbourhood. The camera itself always remains static while we hear chaos and action happening off screen. In fact, technically, in this episode, we're not even inside Number 9, we're outside it. While this way of telling the story is rather captivating, the main focus here are its characters and how they choose to react to the situation presented in the episode. Starting off with arguably the most important two, Val and Damon, played by Bennett Robinson and Reece Shearsmith respectively. The two of them, while not on screen together for long, do have some form of chemistry between them, and there's also the opposite attracts aspect in them as well. Val is a more put together and independent person who presents herself as friendly, whereas Damon, while not necessarily a bad guy, is by contrast more slobbish and grumpy when talking to others.
Bring the Tupperware back whenever. No need to wash it.
Thanks, Sheila. Very kind. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Bye.
Take care.
Oof. Well, were those pyjama bottoms?
I've got no idea.
But while Val and Damon are sort of the main piece in this character pie, the others are quite a treat as well. Firstly, we have Larry, played by Adrian Scarborough, a cheery and otherwise harmless man who's never seen without his trusted dog Popcorn, as well as the nosy Sheila and her husband Kenny, played by Dorothy Atkinson and Steve Pemberton respectively. While Kenny never usually gets to take the spotlight, Sheila on the other hand is more proactive and actively trying to make a good impression, while also looking down slightly on Val and Damon, and in turn, the couple don't think highly of her as well. I do think it's quite interesting how we are technically given perspectives from both parties and yet not at the same time, knowing that not all of them are aware of what's clearly going on with the other. To the neighbourhood watch, Damon is his usual grumpy and arrogant self, which makes his actions and behaviours even more suspicious, especially since, let's be honest, they all definitely liked Val more than him. And by contrast, Damon knows the full story, but because of his arrogance, won't tell anybody what's really going on and clear away his suspicions. All three of these characters help to contribute further towards the episode's main theme. Today's word of the day, boys and girls, is hysteria. Obviously, with the nature of Inside Number 9 and doing a Rear Window pastiche, we're meant to think Damon has killed his wife and everyone is catching on, having these characters as stand-in for the audience themselves, who, like us, don't know the full picture, and it helps to further establish the what-ifs behind Damon. What if he's chopped up his wife in the bathtub? What if he's planning to get rid of his body? What happens if he'll do it again? All of this bleeds into the paranoia and hysteria behind the trio's actions.
Mulberry Close murders.
Has he done more than one?
Well, we don't know, do we? People get up to all sorts.
This motif of suspicion and distrust among neighbours ultimately comes about in the episode's climax, which is exceptionally done, and I really do love how the twist here is more of a comeuppance for the story's antagonist rather than just something dark and nasty. Seeing everything just turn for the worse as soon as Popcorn is revealed and Larry gets revenge really makes for quite the miserable picture as Damon is falsely taken away, but thankfully this episode gives us what other Number 9 twists rarely do, a smidge of hope.
Do we know if anyone's checked the door cam footage yet?
All in all, Mulberry Close was certainly quite a unique take for an Inside Number 9 episode, and was quite the striking watch all things considered, with some great characters and interesting themes. Also, sorry in advance if this review isn't exactly in-depth or good. I had to rush this one out because I was busy for an entire weekend. If this comes out before the Control-Alt-Escape episode, it'll be a miracle. But that's enough of my personal problems. As for the episode itself, it was a fairly strong and eye-catching view, and for being the last of its kind in the entire show, I definitely think it went out with a bang.